In this sport, it's going to teach you everything you need to know about life. And I tell you what, put God in your life, everything is possible. Without God in your life, it's going to be a tough journey. And have faith. Have a lot of faith. You got to have a lot of faith. That's just part of the recipe.
Too often we look at our past like it's the blueprint for our lives. We let how we were raised, what we saw modeled growing up, set the limits for our life. If our parents struggled with addictions or floundered through life, we think that's the plan for our life too. I hear people say, I've gone as far as my parents. I've accomplished as much as my grandparents. This is good enough. No, God is a progressive God. He wants every generation to increase. Your past isn't a blueprint. It's just the foundation for the life God is building. Your parents, relatives, they laid the foundation. You're supposed to build on what they did. You're supposed to set a new standard. That's not a resting place where you can put down your stakes and coast. That's a stepping stone for you to rise higher, a launching pad for you to go further. Don't get comfortable and settle there. You may have seen mediocrity growing up, but God is counting on you to be the difference maker. You can be the one that completes that perfect design. But you have to enlarge your vision. Nobody in your family may have made good grades in school. You be the one to make good grades. Come into that wide life. They didn't go to college, you go to college. They didn't live in a nice neighborhood, that's okay. They did the best they could, but don't settle there. Don't let your heredity stop your destiny. Don't let what was passed down convince you to settle where you are. Break out of that limited mindset. You have greatness in you. Where you are is not where you're supposed to stay. Your destiny is calling out to you. It's time to start living large. Quit believing lies that you've reached your limits, you don't have the talent, you've made too many mistakes. This is a new day. God is going to amaze you with His goodness. Think bigger. There's a large life waiting for you, for your family, for your future. Don't be contained. Don't be talked out of it. If you'll think bigger, you'll live bigger. Just ask my friend Buddy Lee. When he learned to think bigger, he jumped into a destiny larger than he ever imagined.
There's no way you can be a great athlete without understanding the power of God. Up until maybe like age 4 or 5, we lived in the inner city, and my father was in the war. He was either a Vietnam vet or a Korean War. Came back not the same, got shot, and of course you know what wars do to people. He became addicted to alcohol, so it had an impact on him and also the family, so it destroyed our family. I was raised by a mother who had 6 kids, and my mother did everything she could to put a roof over our heads, clothing on our backs. She worked 3 jobs. Seeing the things that alcohol did to my father impacted me. Him coming home late at night, him getting into fights with my mom. It was kind of tough. I mean, waking up in the middle of the night and hearing people fighting, cops coming in and stuff like that, it's very scary. I guess it can impact a kid in 2 ways, in a negative way or positive way. I decided that I was gonna do everything I could within my powers to be the best I could be and change my life and have a better life and help my mom.
Buddy determined to change his life. In order to do that, he knew he needed to go to college. But to get there, he would need an athletic scholarship.
I would have never thought in 1,000 years a jump rope and the great sport of wrestling would teach me everything I needed in life to be my best. I got hurt going out for tryouts for basketball, went up for a layup, my ankle snapped, and then quit the team and went out for wrestling. It was the greatest thing I've ever did. And the first practice, they had me work out with the senior, and I think I pinned this guy, and then I realized that this is the sport I'm gonna do to get me to college. It was important to go to college because with the education, according to our society, you have a choice. You can choose what kind of life you have. It's an opportunity to improve your life, to improve your circumstances. And I wanted to do it the only way I could, by getting a scholarship. I got up to 1,000 push-ups a night in sets of 100s, and about 500 or 600 sit-ups, and I did pull-ups, and I did all kinds of things in my body, and that became the foundation for my strength. And then I started doing things like running around the poles at the schoolyard. And then one hot summer day, I discovered this simple, inexpensive piece of equipment called a jump rope. This was introduced to me by a martial artist, a guy named Mr. Rainey. He was a 4th-degree black belt in karate. Every day this guy would run miles and miles, do hundreds of push-ups, lifting weights, and one day I saw him jumping rope. So I still remember going up to him and say, "Hey, Mr. Rainey," I say, "Can you show me how to jump?" It's kind of serious. I mean, it's kind of true, but he said, "Sure, I'll show you how to jump." Grasshopper. And so by the time I put that rope down, it was 5 hours later, and I had mastered the skill. And after that, one hot summer day that led into the night, I took that rope with me everywhere I went and practiced and practiced. Because every time I jumped, I saw the vision of me becoming a state champion in wrestling, getting a scholarship to go to college, not having my mom worry about me anymore, you know? So when I practiced, I was practicing to change my life. I had motivation to fight for my dreams. The jump rope was a tool, but it became not just a tool. This guy became my best friend, my best training partner. I only lost one wrestling match in the state competition as a sophomore, one wrestling match in the state finals as a junior. Went back to the states the following year. I won the districts, I won the regions, and I won the state title. I became the school's first state champion, graduated, and had about 15 university scholarship offers.
Buddy had changed his life. He went on to college to have an outstanding collegiate career. After college, he went on to be a 20-time national champion. He joined the armed forces and became the military's fittest man. His determination took him from a poor neighborhood in Virginia to the Olympics.
It took me 20 years to make an Olympic team. If you're gonna become a state champion, national champion, Olympian, doesn't happen overnight. It requires losses, because in the losses, there are lessons. I wanted to become an Olympian so that I could help other people to expand their vision, live their passion, like I have. I made the 1988 Olympic team as an alternate, lost to a guy in the finals, but I became Olympic alternate, refocused, prepared myself, did the extra things I needed. And in 1992, I defeated that same guy, the best 2 out of 3. I felt like God was always watching me, always behind me, pushing me to do those extra things. And even though other people couldn't see what I was doing, I knew God was watching. So I like to say that even though I think I was alone, but I wasn't alone. We have to have some faith, believing, because life is a journey. It's very tough. It's a lot of adversity, and there's going to be many times when you don't feel like doing it, and you got to find the internal motivation to push yourself beyond the adversity, and that's what makes champions. This is what separates us. The ones who are willing to do the extra things to be their best. No matter what profession you're in, whether you're a business person, educator, house mom, doctor, lawyer, you can strive to be better. You can be your best, but you have to visualize, and you have to want it, and you got to be willing to pay the extra price. In this sport, it's going to teach you everything you need, know about life. And I tell you what, put God in your life, everything is possible. Without God in your life, it's going to be a tough journey. And have faith. Have a lot of faith. You got to have a lot of faith. That's just part of the recipe.